Genesis 12:10 to 12:20. Title: Abram goes to Egypt. And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife, Behold now, I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee. And it came to pass, that, when Abram was come into Egypt, the Egyptians beheld the woman that she was very fair. The princes also of Pharaoh saw her, and commended her before Pharaoh, and the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. And he entreated Abram well for her sake, and he had sheep, and oxen, and he asses, and menservants, and maidservants, and she asses, and camels. And the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, What is this that thou hast done unto me? Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? Why saidst thou, She is my sister? So I might have taken her to me to wife. Now therefore behold thy wife, take her, and go thy way. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had. Amen. Dear brothers and sisters, today we will be looking at Genesis 12:10-20, where Abram went down to Egypt due to a famine in the land of Canaan. As we go through this passage, we will see how Abram's actions can teach us valuable lessons about trusting God in difficult times. In verse 10, we see that there was a famine in the land of Canaan, where Abram was dwelling with his wife Sarai and his nephew Lot. Instead of waiting on God to provide for him, Abram decided to take matters into his own hands and go to Egypt. Egypt was known for its fertility and abundance, so it seemed like a logical decision at the time. However, once they arrived in Egypt, things did not go as planned. Abram became fearful that the Egyptians would take Sarai because of her beauty, so he asked her to pretend to be his sister instead of his wife. This decision was not only a lie but also put Sarai in danger. As we read through this passage, it becomes apparent that Abram did not trust God fully. He feared for his safety and the safety of his wife, and he acted out of that fear. Instead of trusting in God's provision and protection, he chose to take matters into his own hands. And this ultimately led to him lying, which was not in accordance with God's will. But despite Abram's lack of trust, God remained faithful. In verse 17, we see that God sent plagues upon Pharaoh and his household because of Sarai. And Pharaoh realized that Sarai was not Abram's sister but his wife, and he sent them away with great wealth. Through this story, we see that God is faithful even when we are not. He can use even our mistakes and failures for His purposes. And we also see the importance of trusting in God fully, even in difficult times. So today, let us remember that we serve a faithful God who can provide for us even in the midst of famine. Let us trust in Him fully and not rely on our own strength or understanding. And let us remember that even when we make mistakes, God's grace and mercy are greater than our failures. May God bless you all. Amen.